Do you like music, Mr. Finch?
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Guys, Alex Jewelli here, and introducing my new assistant, Hudson Palmer. And we're going to be bringing to you a slightly sick album review today of Wye Oak's EP, My Neighbor, My Creator. Now, I know this came out way earlier this year, but the things happened is, lately, I haven't found a lot of albums that came out this year that I've really been into. There haven't been a lot that I feel have really been worthy of reviewing for you guys. And since there aren't that many viewers, it's not really worth it doing something just because I know a lot of people are going to be looking for the review if it's not something that I really think you're going to like a lot. It's not something that I have, a high score for that I really enjoy. So for now, I'm going to be doing stuff maybe a little older, maybe in late 2009, early 2010, but stuff that I still thought that stood out, and so I really want to tell you guys about, even though I found it now. It came out a couple, months ago, maybe a year ago, but that's okay. So, Wye Oak's My Neighbor, My Creator is an EP that came out just earlier this year. Wye Oak is a two-piece indie folk band out of Maryland. They have Andy Stack, who plays the drums and the keyboard for the bass at the same time, and then also sings once in a while, and then Jen, who plays guitar and also sings. They've had two albums in the past, If Children and The Knot, which came out last year. Now, one of the biggest points to make about My Neighbor, My Creator is that it sounds like Wye Oak, but it does not sound like any of Wye Oak's older music. It's similar to how I talked about Matt and Kim's new track that came out, where that it sounds like the band, but it doesn't sound exactly like all their older music. It sounds like they've evolved. And it sounds like Wye Oak is moving in a different direction and just really trying new things. There isn't as much dynamic on this album used as on either of the first two, but they seem to go into different directions with this album. For instance, the first two songs, it's very constant volume throughout the songs. It's a very energetic kind of not loud, but just a constant strumming guitar part, and you can hear the drums kind of slamming, and it's all kind of based around the lyrics. And those songs, you can tell that the song is kind of based around the writing, and so it kind of goes as long as the writing goes until it finishes. For both of the first two tracks, a lot of the music kind of just blends together. There's a really good hook on the first song that comes out, and it's kind of catchy, but for the most part, the song kind of blends, and it sounds nice. It doesn't get boring. It doesn't drag on. It's just a nice, good, energetic music, good, energetic indie rock music. Real simple, but really well done. The third song, I would say, is the one that most sounds like older Wye Oak. Sounds a lot like some of the softer songs from The Knot. It doesn't have that big dynamic change in it that a lot of those songs had, but just the way they controlled all the different instruments going on in the background, a little bit of the ambience, and the way it had this very slow kind of like slumping pace to it. But it wasn't sad. You could tell they were talking about something kind of down, but it didn't make you depressed. The song just kind of goes on. It's a very relaxed track. It looks good. I consider the gem of the album to actually be I Hope You Die, which is the fourth out of 5 tracks on the EP. I think in a lot of ways the song really encompasses Wye Oak in a good way. Like I said, it doesn't sound like a lot of their older music, but the way that the lyrics work with the song, it does what Jen seems to like to do a lot, where she'll take a song that if you listen to it at first glance and you just let it go by and you just enjoy it, it can be a really relaxed track, something you can listen to anytime. Something that's not too emotional, but it's just a good song. But then if you listen real close and listen to the lyrics, then you can tell that it's actually a really heart-wrenching story. I Hope You Die, I believe, is about her father being in the hospital, who she talks about in older songs on both the first and the second album. So I believe there's a common theme of hers, and so that's what I thought the song was about. The end of the song, she actually continues to sing in as sweet of a voice as she can, I Hope You Die, a couple of times. And it's interesting, the contrast between the way the song sounds and her voice is and what she's saying, and I love when a band does that. The fifth track is actually a remix that I do off of Knot, and it's interesting. I actually really like it. It has a different feel to it. It's still, it doesn't take really like a hip-hop or like an electronica vibe to it. I can't really describe how it is. It's a little bit dark, still has that indie kind of folk style to it, but The rhythms are a little harder, and it's really nice. There's this odd little rap thing that goes on at the end of the track, which I thought was a little out of place, a little iffy. But for the most part, it's a good track. So, My Neighbor, My Creator, the EP by Wye Oak. As EPs go, I would actually give this EP a good 8. I liked every song on it. I've definitely gone back to it. I consider all the music on this EP right up there with the rest of the music off of Wye Oak's other 2 albums. And I'm hoping that this is a good sign for things to come from the band Wye Oak. So, Wye Oak, My Neighbor, My Creator, give it an 8. I'm Alex Joelli, this is Hudson Palmer, and I am not a music critic.